What's up? How you doing? Here we are, beautiful Friday night. Friday night. You know what Fridays meant when you were a kid? 2 days off, straight, solid. I still like Fridays. So, got a little bit of wine here tonight. I've had this before one time, and it's called 1924. It's limited edition, red blend, California. This is aged in whiskey barrels. So they make the wine, they put it in the whiskey barrels, and it probably says somewhere here how long they leave them, but the writing is not bright enough. It's dark out. So if you could see that. So we're gonna have a little bit. I'm home. No driving involved, and in moderation, so I could find my room at night, you know. Pretty good. So I chilled it because I'm not a fan of warm wine. Cheers. Good smell. This is a delicious wine. It's so good. Very good wine. And it has a bit of an aftertaste that's sweet. Very sweet. Very good. So, I just got back from the movies. I went and saw, what is it? Hear No Evil? See No Evil. Tough to remember the name there. It's neither one. Speak No Evil. Speak No Evil. An hour and 50 minutes long, and I enjoyed it because it's my style of movie. It's not fantasy nonsense. It's not Star Wars. It's none of those kind of movies. I enjoy these kind of movies: horror, drama, suspense, comedy. You know, I'm not even into the superhero movies anymore because they don't resemble the kind of superheroes I like. These are, I don't know where they come from, different dimensions, time travelers, and weird stuff. I like superheroes like Christopher Reeves. I really enjoyed, when I was a kid, I went and saw the original Superman. What did it come out in '78, somewhere around there? I loved it. I loved it. Now I go and I see a superhero movie and I can't wait for it to finish. Too much CGI. Plot is, for me, thin. So I don't enjoy them. But tonight I enjoyed it. Kept my attention. Mama's boy rushing to get home. Get a little kiss on the cheek from Mama. And then go straight down to the basement, take a nap. Many years ago now, although at the time it was that moment, but it was, I don't know, like 5 years back, somewhere around there. Yeah, I think it was like maybe 4 years ago. 2 Hellcats, you know, those Dodge vehicles, 2 of them. They came racing down the street here, and then in the middle of the intersection, they were doing the spin with the tires, the back tires spinning, the front tires locked, and this whole area looked like somebody sprayed tear gas, and then they left. and those round things on the rubber marks on the road there lasted for quite some time. But like everything else, time faded them away, and now you can't even tell. Can't even tell. Wow, this is amazing. It's got a good flavor. Good flavor. So, I enjoyed the movie tonight. I did not sleep once. I watched the entire thing. Did not bore me at all. And I always, for me, the kind of people that are in this movie, that's the real horror. You know, that's the real horror. Not ghosts and made up stuff like that. The human condition, the craziness of people. There were funny scenes in this because, you know, the acting and the storyline made it funny, but I really enjoyed it. I had a good time at the theater tonight. Today is Friday the 13th. Wow, be careful. Sounds scary. Friday the 13th. Because we've made it that in our brains. We've made it scary, but it's not really anything. No big deal. And then all of a sudden I get hit with a meteorite. Yeah, when I was a kid, Fridays you were like excited, because Fridays was like you were looking forward to the weekend. And you know, the time of the year I really loved a lot. I mean, obviously summer's awesome, but fall gave you a coziness feeling inside. Crisp air, the smell of that smell of leaves. You know what I mean? If you've been to the Northeast, you know what I'm talking about. There's a certain smell in the air and that crispness. I used to love that. Get up, go somewhere and had that nice, you know, where you enjoyed having a jacket on. And I'd go to a mall a little bit. But I remember in those days, every once in a while, my father would take us out to kind of like the rural part of the state. And I'd see kids my age as we were driving through these small towns. I'd see them on mini bikes, on go-karts. Some of them had full-size dirt bikes. And I said, you know what, one day I'm going to get something like that. And that day never came. Never came. Nice and cold, too. Yeah, but I was always a fan of those places where you see, like, I don't know, 12-year-olds or something on a mini bike. And you know what? I'd get a mini bike now too. Those what do they call, Honda Monkeys? Honda Monkeys. They look so cool to me. I see, you know, grown men on these Honda Monkeys riding around in the city. Get that flame. Ooh, not getting burned. You leave it there long enough, you'll see your hand turn into a burnt hot dog. So we went to the movies, then we went out, got a bite to eat, and then we came home. And here I am at 11:16 in the p.m. You hear that? Yeah, I think I mentioned it the other day. I was shooting video, and then I came back to edit. And as I was listening to it, because in the video I'm far away, and it's a far shot, so it sounds like a baby crying on the microphone. And what it is one of those, I think it's like a big one of those fly things. It came close to the mic and it made, you know, what sounds like a baby cry. Weird. So, what else? Beautiful sky, no clouds, but because of the lights that are on, you cannot see any stars. Too bright. I like those nights where it's really, really dark out, and you're in the middle of nowhere, and you're looking at the sky, and it just overwhelms you with the stars. And a lot of people think when they look up there, they're actually watching the stars in the universe. You're only looking at a small, tiny section of the galaxy. That's it. Small, tiny section. And on a clear night, you could see Andromeda with the naked eye. It just looks like a little cluster of, little stars. But Andromeda is about 2.5 million light years from here, which is very far. Yeah, a lot of people, they live in the world that we live in, but they don't understand the basics of the universe. They, like you talk to my mother, has no idea about the size of the universe. My mother thinks the universe is like the planet, solar system. Maybe she knows that much. The sun in the middle of the solar system, and then that's about it. She doesn't realize how massive, and you realize that she doesn't realize, because when you talk to her, when she responds to the questions, you realize she has no idea. No idea. But that's, a lot of people of that generation. And we don't know anything, right? Like I've said this before, but the things we know about the universe are going to end up in the future to be like 1/100th of 1%, if that much. It's probably 1/1,000,000th of 1% that we know. We don't really know anything. I mean, we know where certain things are, but we don't know the beginning. We don't know how that came to be. We don't know the actual size of this place. Every time they put up a new piece of technology, it seems like the universe is bigger than it used to be. Like, back in like 100 years ago, I think they used to think back then that we were the only galaxy, that the galaxy was the universe and nothing else. So, but for me, it's a fascinating topic. The laws of physics fascinating, the size of the universe, and the fact that we, planet Earth, may be inside of a void, a relatively empty spot of the universe. But it would be good if we could get a signal from some ancient alien civilization out there. I would love that. I would love a scene from Close Encounters of the Third Kind to be real. I would go to that, what is that, Devil's Tower? I'd go there and wait, see these things show up. As long as they're friendly. So if this was the 70s right now, I would be getting into bed, and I would be feeling inside, I'd be very excited. And then tomorrow, Saturday, I would be getting up at 7 o'clock, turning on my television, my Zenith System 3. I only had a Zenith. No System 3 in my house. Barely had a System 1. And then I would turn it on, I'd watch from 7 till 2. So 7 hours of cartoons and kid shows. Land of the Lost, Electro Woman and Dyna Girl, Wonderbug, Shazam, Isis. What was that, Sigmund and the Sea Monsters? I used to watch that. And then, of course, Hong Kong Phooey. Loved Hong Kong Phooey. The Grape Ape. Grape Ape. Love that cartoon. Beagly. These helicopters, I don't know, keep flying around. Wish I had a little helicopter or a little plane. Who makes those planes? Honda? Honda makes nice planes. I would love to have a little airplane, holds maybe 15 people, and the kind that land on water. Like Fantasy Island had one of those. And I would like to go to an uninhabited island in the middle of, like, it could be anywhere, but South Pacific sounds good, like Gilligan's Island. And I'd like to, stay there for a week. Would love to do that. And then take off again. And then eventually, there's some weird uninhabited islands off the coast of Antarctica. Those look especially creepy. But I would love to do that. And that's probably the quickest way. You take a boat, a yacht, something like that. It takes a long time to go to an uninhabited island, 5,000 miles from here, 3,000 miles. It takes a long time. But if you have a plane, and go by yourself. Don't bring anybody along. You're just going to get into it. They'll be whining all the time, why'd I come here? There's no food, I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, there's only salt water. You don't want to deal with that. Go by yourself. Bring some fishing lines, a couple of hammers, break up the coconuts nice and easy. Maybe an axe. And stay there for about a week. Unless you get a lot of fish, then extend it to a couple of weeks. And then get on the plane and come back. Yeah, I was watching this guy, he was up in Alaska. Oh, there's a little cat. The little cat found me. Psst. Guy's up in Alaska and he gets dropped off in some remote island by plane. One of those little planes. But you know what? I am not a fan of the single engine propeller planes. Not a fan of those. At least you want two, right? In case something happens, you want to have a backup. Or you want to have a major parachute tucked into the plane, and if the plane loses power, just pull the cord and let the parachute open up. Yeah, this is great. So if you want to go to their website, it's 1924wines.com. Limited edition. See what we do tomorrow. Today I was at my daughter's school. They had lunch. We all had lunch there today. And I like that stuff. Yeah, a little Honda airplane would be cool. I think they cost $4.5 million a piece. I think. See a little plane in the distance. Remember in the old days, it was very popular if you were a teenager to find a little supermarket somewhere and hang out in front of it. Hang out in front of it. I remember there was a place that my father would stop at night to get bread. And we always had to go, like I would go with him inside the store because I always wanted something. And we always had to pass through 15, 20 teenagers. They were just hanging around. Sometimes you would see a brown bag and a bottle inside, and they would be drinking wine, like Night Train, something like that, Ripple. But you don't see that anymore. That's like an old-fashioned thing, loitering in front of the 7-Eleven or whatever. Although, when I was a kid, 7-Eleven was not that popular in my neighborhood. We had other things. Hope I have an interesting dream tonight. You know what I noticed? if you're not feeling well, say you're coming down with the flu, your sleep suffers. It's like the body cannot release enough sleep hormone to put you into deep sleep, so you're always lingering on the surface of sleep, and you keep waking up, and it's like 20 minutes later, 10 minutes later, and you're constantly waking up. But then you get better, and the best thing is when you go to sleep and you don't wake up until the next day when you have to wake up. You don't even want to get up for the bathroom, but if you have to, you have to. Remember the old days, walkie-talkies? My uncle got me a set of walkie-talkies for one Christmas, and I got home and I couldn't fall asleep. I was listening to everybody. Back then, everybody was on, I mean, not everybody, but a lot of people were on the CB or the walkie-talkie. So I ended up getting these. They were for kids, but you know, they were strong enough to get a signal probably a mile and a half. And so I was in my room, I was listening to everybody talking, and everybody had like a handle, like a nickname on the radio. And then I got on the CB, the walkie-talkie the next night, and the same people. And then we ended up getting a car that had a CB in it. And then I was always on the CB. I remember in our area down the Cape there, they had a woman that would monitor the Channel 9. And I didn't know that was an emergency channel. I thought it was like, hey, I'm here, what's going on? So I would get on the CB and put it on Channel 9, and I would say, 19, sorry, not 9. I would say, breaker 19, come in. And then I would hear, do you have an emergency? If you don't have an emergency, please get off this channel. And then I kept doing it. I was like, breaker 19. And then she said to me, if you don't stop doing that, we're going to locate you. And I stopped doing it. I didn't want to be located. But now I own a CB, and I've had it on many times. I've had it on in the car driving around, and you know what you hear? Crickets. Crickets. Nobody's on the CB anymore. Nobody. Now, you know, of course they have cell phones, so you don't need a CB. But back then, you know, taxis, 18-wheelers, you know, the big rigs, they all had the walkie-talkie or the CB, which I like those days. Anyway, I'm going to go to my bedroom and go to sleep eventually. So that's it for now. Ciao.